Very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television, the perfect show to kickstart the brand new week with the latest news from India and across the world. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the headlines. Economy on track due to hard decisions. Process of important economic decisions to continue, says Prime Minister during visit to Gujarat. GST rates need to be overhauled to reduce the burden on small firms, says Revenue Secretary. Rationalization could be done as early as the GST Council meet in November. India says the Rohingya refugees must be taken back by Myanmar. Sushma Swaraj says this during her visit to Bangladesh. The nations also vow to jointly fight terrorism. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's coalition wins a resounding victory in general elections, according to exit polls, vows to deal firmly with threats from North Korea. And India win Asia Cup Hockey Championship, beat Malaysia 2-1 in final in Dhaka, third Asia Cup title for India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that despite the tough decisions on reforms taken by his government, the economy is on track. He said this during his third visit to Gujarat this month, where he unveiled a slew of projects. Here is a report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the process of taking important decisions regarding economic reforms will continue. Addressing a public rally in Dahej in Gujarat, the Prime Minister said that the fundamentals of the economy are strong and on track.
तमाम सुधारों और कड़े फैसलों के बावजूद देश की अर्थव्यवस्था पटरी पर है, सही दिशा में। हाल में आए आंकड़ों को देखें तो कोयले, बिजली, स्टील, नेचुरल गैस, इन सब के प्रोडक्शन में काफी वृद्धि हुई है। विदेशी इन्वेस्टर भारत में रिकॉर्ड निवेश कर रहे हैं। भारत का फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व लगभग 30,000 करोड़ डॉलर से बढ़कर 40,000 करोड़ डॉलर को पार कर गया है। कई जानकारों ने इस बात पर सहमति जताई है कि देश की अर्थव्यवस्था के फंडामेंटल काफी मजबूत है, स्ट्रांग है। हमने रिफॉर्म से जुड़े महत्वपूर्ण फैसले लिए हैं और ये प्रक्रिया लगातार जारी रहेगी। देश की फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी को भी मेंटेन रखा जाएगा। निवेश बढ़ाने और आर्थिक विकास को गति देने के लिए हम हर आवश्यक कदम उठाते रहेंगे।
Earlier, the Prime Minister inaugurated the first phase of the ambitious roll-on, roll-off ferry service between Gogha and Dahej in Gujarat. The services will connect Saurashtra and South Gujarat, saving time and fuel. The project is worth 615 crore rupees.
गोगा दहेज के बीच से फेरी सर्विस सौराष्ट्र और दक्षिण गुजरात के करोड़ों लोगों की जिंदगी को न सिर्फ आसान बनाएगी बल्कि उन्हें और निकट ले आएगी। जिस सफर में 7-8 घंटे लगते थे, वो सफर 1-1.25 घंटे में पूरा किया जा सकेगा।
The Prime Minister travelled on the ferry along with Divyang children to Dahej. The Prime Minister also emphasised on modernising and development of ports along the country's 7,500-kilometre long coastline to boost economic growth. Terming ports as a gateway to prosperity, the Prime Minister said well-developed ports were essential for economic growth.
दूसरे देशों से मजबूत संबंध स्थापित करने के लिए हमें और आधुनिक पोर्ट्स की आवश्यकता है। हमारी इकोनॉमी के लिए पोर्ट्स फेफड़ों की तरह हैं। अगर पोर्ट्स बीमार हो जाए, क्षमता के मुताबिक काम न करे, तो हम बहुत व्यापार भी नहीं कर पाएंगे।
Reiterating that the government is focusing on port infrastructure, the Prime Minister said the Sagarmala project alone will provide around 1 crore jobs.
हमारा मंत्र है P for P. Ports for prosperity. हमारे बंदर समृद्धि के प्रवेश द्वार. सागरमाला जैसा प्रोजेक्ट इसी विजन की एक झलक है. इस प्रोजेक्ट पर 2035 तक की जरूरतों को ध्यान में रखते हुए हम काम कर रहे हैं.
The Sagarmala is a $123 billion project that envisages upgrading and development of ports, improved port connectivity, port-linked industrialization and coastal community development along the country's coastline. This was the Prime Minister's third visit to pole-bound Gujarat this month. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to the other top story. Revenue Secretary Hasmukh Adhia has said that a complete overhauling of the goods and services tax rate is required to reduce the burden on small and medium businesses. In an interview to PTI, he said that the GST, which amalgamates more than a dozen central and state levies like excise duty, service tax and VAT, will take about a year to stabilize. He said that wherever the government finds that there is a big burden on small and medium businesses and on the common man, it will bring them down. He, however, said that the overhauling would require some calculations by the committee, which will decide which items need a rationalization of the rate under the GST regime. He said that the committee will work on it for a month, and then the GST Council will try and bring something as early as in Guwahati or later on. Remember, the 23rd meeting of the GST Council, chaired by Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and comprising of representatives of all states, will be held in Guwahati on the 10th of the next month. Let's move on in the bulletin now. BIMSTEC countries are likely to conclude the trade agreement soon to emerge as a powerful regional bloc. The free trade agreement being negotiated by the seven-nation BIMSTEC will help in the elimination of non-tariff measures and will give a big push to trade in the region. Experts say that India should lead BIMSTEC with an inclusive vision driven by economic merits of cooperation. Here are all the details.
BIMSTEC or Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation member states have called for the early conclusion of a free trade area agreement to deepen regional integration in the Bay of Bengal region. With the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation or SAARC virtually rendered ineffective as a bloc, largely due to non-cooperation on the part of Pakistan in a number of areas, India has been giving more importance to BIMSTEC in recent times. The member nations of the regional bloc have also stressed on the need to expedite the negotiations on the agreements on services and investment to augment economic cooperation in the region.
Already there is considerable economic cooperation within the BIMSTEC countries, but to further push this cooperation, we are in the process of concluding a free trade agreement. The agreement has been ready with a little bit of more work. It will be ready, finally ready for signature.
BIMSTEC is home to more than 1.5 billion people that constitute around 21% of the global population. Also, it has a combined gross domestic product of over $2.85 trillion. Despite the global financial meltdown in recent times, the group has been able to sustain an average 6.5% growth trajectory. Experts highlight the economic potential of BIMSTEC in areas like trade, blue economy, tourism and energy security, but also underscore the need for enhanced connectivity. However, issues of unsettled borders, refugee issues and ethnic tensions among BIMSTEC member countries also pose a challenge to the grouping.
We need to be increasing the tourism sector. We need to be sharing the experience, particularly on the renewable energy, infrastructure, and skill development. That were the thrust sector that were identified, and I believe that the next conference will be taking place soon. New Secretary General has taken over, and the thing will be happening.
The group was originally called BIMSTEC, that meant Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand economic cooperation, and was formed at a meeting in June 1997 in Bangkok. Myanmar was admitted in December 1997 and expanded when Nepal and Bhutan were also admitted in February 2004. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, India says the Rohingya refugees who have poured into Bangladesh must be taken back by Myanmar from where they have been displaced. Now, the statement backing Dhaka's stance was made by External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj after she co-chaired the 4th JCC meet with her Bangladeshi counterpart in Dhaka. The two nations also decided to deepen their engagement on economic and strategic levels, with India committing to increase the development assistance to Bangladesh in the coming years.
The regional situation arising out in the aftermath of Rohingya exodus from Myanmar was the key issue discussed during the first day of External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj's 2-day visit to Bangladesh. India expressed its deep concern at the spate of violence in Myanmar's Rakhine state and, backing Dhaka's stance, stressed that normalcy will be restored only with the return of displaced persons. Comes as close to 6 lakh minority Rohingya Muslims have fled to Bangladesh since late August to escape violence in Myanmar's Rakhine state, where the army has launched a crackdown against militants.
That India is deeply concerned at the situation in Rakhine state of Myanmar. We have urged that the situation be handled with restraint, keeping in mind the welfare of the population. Friends, it is clear that normalcy will only be restored with the return of the displaced persons to Rakhine state.
Swaraj made the statement after co-chairing the 4th meeting of the Joint Consultative Commission JCC with her Bangladeshi counterpart A.H. Mahmood Ali in Dhaka on Sunday. However, Swaraj did not mention the word Rohingya, a term disputed by Myanmar. Myanmar doesn't recognize Rohingya as an ethnic group and insists that they are Bangladeshi migrants living illegally in the country. Bangladesh has sought India's sustained pressures on Myanmar for its resolution.
In our view, the only long-term solution to the situation in Rakhine state is rapid socio-economic and infrastructure development that would have a positive impact on all the communities living in the state.
The Rohingya issue was also discussed during Sushma's call on Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. She also met with Bangladesh Nationalist Party leader Khalida Zia and the leader of the opposition Roshan Ershad on Sunday night. In the meeting, India expressed its desire to see a continued democratic process in Bangladesh. Both the countries also discussed on jointly combating terrorism and stop radicalization of youth in South Asia.
We are both determined to protect our societies from the threat of ideologies of hate, violence and terror by adopting a zero-tolerance policy and a comprehensive approach in fighting violent extremism and terrorism at all levels.
During the visit, New Delhi also reaffirmed its status as a reliable development partner of Dhaka. The electricity being supplied to Bangladesh will be doubled in future. There are more plans for synergy in the petroleum sector as well.
We have already agreed on the construction of a petroleum products pipeline that will link Siliguri with Parvatipur for the benefit of the people of northwestern Bangladesh as a grant-in-aid project.
India also for the first time announced 5 years multiple entry visas for those Bangladeshi citizens who took part in war against Pakistan that led to the creation of Bangladesh.
The cooperation and camaraderie between our forces is a matter of pride. In order to honor your brave Mukti Jodhas, we are offering 5-year multiple entry visa and are working on a scheme for their medical treatment in India.
This is Sushma Swaraj's second visit to Bangladesh and comes after the recent trip of Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, during which India operationalized a $4.5 billion line of credit to Bangladesh for development projects. Today, the External Affairs Minister will inaugurate a new building of the Indian High Commission in Dhaka. During her return to Delhi, Swaraj will inaugurate 15 small development projects. With inputs from Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in her first foreign visit as the Defence Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman will travel to the Philippines to attend the Southeast Asian Defence Ministers meeting. The meeting is likely to review the regional security architecture, including China's growing assertiveness in the South China Sea. During her 3-day visit, Sitharaman will hold bilateral talks with her counterparts from a number of countries. The ASEAN Defence Ministers meeting, to be held today and tomorrow, is expected to deliberate extensively on the situation in Afghanistan and Syria. The ADMM Plus is a platform for ASEAN and its 8 dialogue partners to strengthen security and defence cooperation for peace, stability and development in the region. On to some other news. The Minister of State for External Affairs MJ Akbar met Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi in Cairo on Sunday. After the meeting, Akbar said that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has a sincere desire to take the Egypt-India ties to a higher level. Akbar also described his meeting with the Egyptian leader as excellent. During the meeting with Al Alamein, the two leaders discussed ways to further strengthen bilateral ties as well as regional and international issues. Akbar said that both the countries always find new avenues for partnership and cooperation, not simply on government-to-government level, but also how to improve partnership on a people-to-people level. He also handed over President Sisi a letter from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The letter was to thank Egypt for its support to the Indian candidates at the International Court of Justice. Time for a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.
The splendid, grand and massive neo-Buddhist copper dome of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It gets its influence from stupa at Sanchi. The dome is more than twice the height of the rest of the building. The reinforced concrete shell of the outer dome began to be formed during the beginning of 1929. The last stone of the dome was laid on April 6, 1929.
Welcome back after the break. Now, today is the last day of filing of nominations for Himachal Assembly polls. And the BJP on Sunday released a list of 40 star campaigners, which include Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Party Chief Amit Shah and 10 union ministers. The list, which was submitted to the Election Commission, apart from union ministers, also includes the name of 4 chief ministers: Uttar Pradesh's Yogi Adityanath, Shivraj Singh Chauhan of Madhya Pradesh, Manohar Lal Khattar of Haryana and Uttarakhand's Trivendra Singh Rawat. The Congress also released its second list of 7 candidates for the 9th of November Assembly elections in Himachal Pradesh. Now, Chief Minister of the state, Veerbhadra Singh's son, was named as the Congress nominee from Shimla Rural, and State Minister Kol Singh Thakur's daughter, Champa Thakur, from Mandi. Scrutiny of nomination papers will take place on 24th of October, that is tomorrow, and the last date for the withdrawal of candidature is 26th of October. Counting of votes will be held on 18th of December. Now, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi will take part in the Navsarjan Gujarat Janadesh rally today in Gandhinagar in Gujarat. The rally is organized by the party, where OBC leader Alpesh Thakur is expected to join the Congress party. Now, this is being seen as a move that will boost Congress, which has been out of power in Gujarat for over 2 decades now. The announcement came hours after the Congress invited Patidar leader Hardik Patel, OBC leader Alpesh Thakur and Jignesh Mevani to join the party. Alpesh Thakur, the convener of the OBC, ST and ST Ekta Manch, will merge his outfit with the Congress in the rally today. Rahul Gandhi is also likely to meet Chotu Vasava, the leader of the JDU in Gujarat, during his one-day visit. Time for all the international news now. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's coalition has won a resounding victory in Sunday's general election, according to exit polls. The reports say that Shinzo Abe's Liberal Democratic Party-led coalition has won 312 seats in the 465-seat lower house of parliament, allowing it to retain its 2/3 supermajority. The Prime Minister, who has already served nearly 5 years, called for the snap election in late September after North Korea fired its second ballistic missile over Japan in a month. Now, Abe's victory gives the Prime Minister a fresh mandate to pursue his goal of reforming Japan's post-war constitution and to continue his economic stimulus measures. Abe has said that he wishes to revise Article 9 of the country's constitution that calls for complete renunciation of war. After the exit poll results, Abe said that outcome shows a stronger military and a hard line on North Korea.
一つは北朝鮮の脅威、これはこれまでにない大きな脅威と言ってもいいと思います。そしてもう一つは少子化であります。今まさに手を打たなければ手遅れになってしまう、待ったなし、まさに私は国難だとこう思ったわけです。
News from Europe, where thousands of people turned out in Madrid on Sunday evening for a rally in support of Catalonia after the Spanish government moved to impose direct rule over the restive autonomous region. The protesters, who carried banners and chanted slogans accusing the government in Madrid of carrying out a coup. Spain on Sunday urged Catalans to accept direct control from Madrid and ignore instructions from the restive region's secessionist leadership once it has been removed from power. This comes a day after Madrid resolved to take the unprecedented constitutional step of firing the Catalonia's government, a last resort to thwart its independence campaign and calm fears of unrest and economic turmoil in the heart of the Eurozone. Catalan President Carles Puigdemont, however, rejected the decision, which is to be implemented this week. He described it as the worst attack on Catalonia's institutions.
All the government is trying to do, and reluctantly, is to reinstate the legal order, restore the constitution, but also the Catalan rules, and proceed from there. We are going to establish the authorities who are going to rule, the day-to-day affairs of Catalonia, according, as I said, to the Catalan laws and norms. And what we are trying to do is to restore normalcy, to restore togetherness for the sake of all Catalans.
And a look at what else is making news across the world in World Wrap. A mammoth typhoon has struck Japan, hurling dangerous winds and thwarting to cause major flooding and mudslides. Typhoon Lan made landfall early Monday along Japan's southeastern coast. The storm is rapidly moving to the northeast at 59 kilometers per hour. Although the typhoon is weakening, Tokyo is expected to get hit with possibly damaging winds and heavy rains. The World Health Organization, or the WHO, has revoked the appointment of Zimbabwe's Robert Mugabe as a goodwill ambassador following a widespread outcry. The WHO head had previously praised Zimbabwe for its commitment to public health, but critics pointed out that Zimbabwe's healthcare system had collapsed in recent years. The US-backed Syrian Democratic Forces, an alliance of Kurdish and Arab fighters, have captured one of Syria's largest oil fields in the Deir el-Zor province. Riding on the heels of victory against the Islamic State militant group in Raqqa, the SDF is now racing to seize parts of Syria's oil-rich province. This comes as Russia's defense ministry accused the US and its coalition partners of erasing Raqqa, the former stronghold, off the map. Now to some sports news. Now India has become the Asia Cup hockey champion after defeating Malaysia in Dhaka. India beat the Malaysian team 2-1. Now goals by Ramandeep Singh and Lalit Upadhyay helped India to lift the Hero Asia Cup 2017. Now, this is the third time that India have won the Asia Cup title, and that too after a gap of 10 years. India had earlier reached the final after defeating Pakistan 4-0 in the semi-finals in Dhaka on Saturday.
Congratulations, India.
Good news coming in from the badminton world as well, because ace Indian player Kidambi Srikanth has clinched his third Super Series Premier title after winning the Denmark Open tournament. Srikanth defeated South Korea's Lee Hyung 21-10, 21-5. Now, this is Srikanth's third Super Series title win of the year after the Indonesia Open Super Series Premier and the Australian Open Super Series earlier this year. Now, Srikanth has an overall 5 Super Series titles to his name, including the China Open and the India Open 2015. Prakash Padukone was the last Indian to win the men's singles title at the Denmark Open in 1980. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Srikanth for his victory. In a tweet, Prime Minister Modi said that the victory has made every Indian proud. However, no good news from the world of cricket because New Zealand defeated India in the first one-day international match at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai on Sunday. The visitors beat the hosts by 6 wickets. New Zealand now lead the 3-match series 1-0. Chasing a target of 281 runs, New Zealand openers Martin Guptill and Colin Munro put 48 runs on the board for the first wicket. For India, skipper Virat Kohli marked his 200th ODI appearance by smashing his 31st one-day 100, surpassing former Australian captain Ricky Ponting on the list of highest centuries.
What am I talking about? He just comes and slogs the first ball out.
And the World Cup final of the shooting will begin today in New Delhi. The World Cup final includes the pistol, air rifle and shotgun. Now, Indian pair of Jeetu Rai and Hina Sidhu will spearhead country's challenge in the event. Both the pair have won the air pistol mixed team title at the ISSF World Cups in Gabala and Delhi. As many as 9 champions across 15 events from Rio 2016 Olympic Games are in the fray in the tournament. Hosts India have a total of 10 competitors across 3 disciplines, including a current world #1 double trap shooter Ankur Mittal and a reigning Asian Games champion and former world #1 men's pistol ace Jeetu Rai. News from the world of football. Spain and Brazil have qualified for the semi-finals in the ongoing FIFA Under-17 tournament. Now, Spain defeated Iran 3-1 at the Jawaharlal Nehru International Stadium in Kochi. Captain Abel Ruiz gave Spain the lead. Now, this will be Spain's 6th appearance in the semi-finals in the 9th attempt. It will now face African champions Mali in Navi Mumbai in the 2nd semi-finals on 25th of October. Meanwhile, in another match, Germany 2-1 in Kolkata, and it will now face England on 25th of October at the Indira Gandhi Athletic Stadium in Guwahati. And that's it from me and my team in this edition of News. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.